Today's spooky scary story time is called The 10th Bedroom. It was sent to me by someone who wanted to be called AJ, and it deals with Ouija boards and a supposedly haunted Victorian mansion, so don't watch this one at night. AJ swears the story is 100% true. He said it was the most terrifying thing he's ever experienced, and he said when he's told his friends about it, they beg him to go to Hollywood and sell this as a movie script. AJ said, though, because of his religious beliefs, he believes it's best if he just lets these memories rest, but he is a fan of spooky scary story time, so he thought it would be okay to share this. AJ said he grew up in a Victorian mansion. It was huge, it had 9 bedrooms, and it was beautiful. He loved growing up there until the summer his cousin visited when he was 9. AJ's cousin, who was a little bit older, was a horror movie enthusiast, and he had come to stay with AJ's family for the summer. He brought a Ouija board with him, and one night during that summer, he suggested that they have a bonfire, and he asked AJ's older sisters, who were teenagers at the time, to play with him. AJ wasn't playing, but he was watching. At first, nothing was really happening, and it was all laughs as AJ's cousin was trying to scare his older sisters. But then something in the atmosphere changed. AJ's cousin got serious, and they realized that there was actually some entity that they were talking to on the board. One of AJ's older sisters asked, "Who are you?" And the board began to spell out D-E-V-I. As the planchette was moving toward the letter L, AJ's cousin slammed the board shut. He doused the fire, and they went inside. Nothing else happened that night, so AJ's sisters and AJ just chalked it up to their cousin playing an elaborate prank on them. The summer ended, AJ's cousin returned home, but then fall came. And with fall, the energy in the house changed. It started with small things: knocks at the door, footsteps in the hall, the sound of someone climbing the stairs. They would complain to their father, and their father, who was very religious, just said, "Just ignore it. If you feed into it, it only makes it worse." But then things escalated. All of the kids in the house started having very scary, very vivid, and demonic nightmares. Their parents were fighting all the time, and AJ says it was like a gray fog settled over everything. AJ says the first very scary incident happened to his sister around 3 in the morning. She was laying in bed when all of a sudden all the posters taped to one side of her wall flew off to the other side of the room. She sat up in shock. Her bed started to shake violently, he says, like Exorcist style, and she ran to her mom's room screaming. Her mom thought it was just a nightmare, so she lets her sleep in the bed with her. They're laying in bed for a little while when all of a sudden the parents' bed begins to shake violently. Her mom starts reciting a prayer. She's doing that for a little while and the shaking stops. Not long after that, AJ woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of dishes shattering in the kitchen. He said it sounded like every dish that they owned was being shattered at the same time. Him and his sister both heard it. They both woke up. They ran to their mom's room, who had heard it too, and they locked themselves in the library on the 2nd floor to call the police. AJ says that his dad worked nights at the time, so he wasn't home, but while they were waiting the police, huddled up together in the library, they could hear the sound of footsteps crunching over broken glass. He said he never has felt so scared and helpless in his life. They thought they were being burglarized. So they call the dad after they call the police, and the dad meets them at the house. The police check out the house. They can't find anybody. The dad meets them up in the library, and the mom, who had just bought a set of very expensive china dishes, asked the father sadly how many were broken. AJ's dad says, "What do you mean?" And she asks again how much damage there is, and he said nothing's broken. Not a single thing on the 1st floor was out of place. Nothing had been touched. Their security cameras revealed nothing. The alarm hadn't gone off. AJ says the police thought they were crazy, but all of them who were in the house when it happened heard it. Another scary incident at the house directly involved AJ. One day he was in his room. His dad was downstairs. He called him for something. AJ came to the banister. His dad was on the 1st floor, and AJ was looking down at him. He asked him his question, but he was looking at AJ strangely. AJ went back in his room, and later he found out that his father looked at him strangely because he asked his mom if they were babysitting somebody that day or if AJ had a friend over. AJ's mom is confused. She looks at her husband. She's like, "No, why?" And AJ's dad says, "Well, then who was that little girl standing with AJ?" Apparently this incident was enough to get AJ's dad's attention and realize that there was an evil presence in the house. So they're Muslim. They had a Muslim priest come over and bless the house with holy water and pray over it for 3 days. He was staying in the house. At the end of the 3 days, the priest tells AJ's dad there's many evil presences in the house and they stay in the 10th bedroom. And confused, AJ's dad is like, "Well, how do you know that?" And the priest tells him basically that it's a gift from God. AJ's dad tells the priest he must be wrong because their house only has 9 bedrooms, but the priest insists that the evil presences are coming from the 10th bedroom. Although skeptical, AJ's parents thanked the priest for his services and he left, and the house returned to normal. There was no paranormal activity after he left. Because there was no more paranormal activity in the house and the house had returned to normal, everybody in the family just kind of forgot about it and let it go. Until 7 years later, when AJ's parents decided that they were going to do some renovations on the Victorian mansion. His mother instructed the renovators to rip out a built-in bookshelf in the basement that she had always wanted to remove. When they removed the bookshelf, the entire family was shocked to find a door behind the bookshelf. And when they opened it, they realized it was a 10th bedroom. The bedroom was filled with old clothes, old letters, and books in strange languages. And his mother was completely spooked by this, but his father, he said, was just happy to have extra storage space. His Mother was insistent though on having the room blessed. They had a priest come, they blessed the room, and nothing strange happened. They ended up using the room for storage. AJ said although there were more things that happened in that house, these were the most terrifying experiences, and he wants to know if anyone can relate. Keep sending me your spooky, scary stories. I'll keep adding them to this playlist.